exciting. I'm allowing the energy to populate the field. Wow. Some very grounding energy. Interesting. Okay. What else am I experiencing? I'm experiencing, heaviness. All right. So we'll start like clearing psychic debris. We'll give it a new focus, like little white butterflies, unconditional love. And so while I'm in my moment and I drop into the energy of it, it makes it as if I am connected to that energy and I become it. So I sit in the energy of it and I become it. That's the best way to express it. It's understanding that there's a part of you that belongs in all that is, everything, from the most negative aspect to the most positive aspect. And in that, every time we're presented a situation, it's going to have contrast and positive. It's going to have a negative and a positive. All right. And depending on your flow and your focus and how you're allowing yourself to be in your natural nature and connection and understanding that there's oneness, right? And so as you treat yourself, right, with loving kindness and treat others as such, right, then it creates this entrainment of energy around you to where things start to change. Let's talk about the glitches. The shit that shows up when you don't want it to, when you're hitting all green lights, and then all of a sudden somebody puts a hitch in your giddy up. Let's talk about that. What happens when our focus changes from where we're goal oriented and we feel like we're thriving and striving to be, and we're in all this effort? Okay. And then all of a sudden we're forced to maybe slow down and redirect that energetic, output, and instead go into allowance or receiving so that, the things that we have asked for can make their way to us. So what I noticed as what they noticed, I'll just tell you because they talked to me that way. They said that as you get older, what we've noticed is that when your mind gets too full, you get forgetful. And so I'm looking to discard about 400 or 500 people out of my mind. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, my thoughts, my interactions, my mind. Okay, let's talk about sensory energy. So you may have a sensation where you're being pulled into your body, and that is your magnetic field in a gravitational match to earth energy and getting connected to who you are. Okay, that was the intention when the energy started. So now maybe that heaviness that you feel, you could imagine that maybe it begins to slowly turn to ashes, like you'd been consumed by fire, right? And all that's left is an ash shell around the new you. And all of a sudden, it just starts to break apart and fall to the ground. And it keeps falling and falling and falling, and you allow it. Every last little bit. And you thank the earth. You thank the earth You thank the earth. You thank the earth for being there for you, being that connection for you, taking that on for you, that charge, all that experience. And sit with that for 1 second, maybe more. And take a nice breath in through your nose and let go through your mouth, right? You get rid of like 70 to 80% of your toxins through your breath. So it's a really impactful act when you do it with intention. Your cells start to show up the way that you would like. The charge in the old cells is no longer there. So then that cellular rejuvenation, so you discard those. There's just a lot of things that go on with your body to support you when you make decisions about redirecting your focus for yourself. Your body will show up. All right. Your thoughts, intention, connection, however you would like to translate that aspect. Okay. The chicken or the egg. All right. For me, it is the thought that we pull in, because this is who we are in that moment, starts because we're in an experience and our mind has a passing thought that provides a curiosity to us because we're so connected to all that is. So something shiny will fly by, like, oh, maybe I should go on vacation. Easy thoughts. And all of a sudden you're redirected and you're in two spaces energetically now. So you're splitting your energy between here and there. And you're splitting thoughts, but you're pulling in ample because you know how to support yourself in your mental acuity for inspiration, for reasoning, for evidence of what it is you wish to prove your life is experiencing. All right. And that is what actually happens. It is so perfect because you've built it so structured. So the foundation that you have paved, whatever backstory it took for you to get to wherever it is that you are, to have the experience that you're in. All right. If you soften it, if you soften that understanding to where it comes into like to where it softens to understanding, compassionate understanding of self. And what I mean by that is that you can be grateful that you're on this side of the river, right? And they're still processing and there's still change and there's still this transformational energy that you are learning to shift and become, because that's what is happening around us, everyone, right? And learning how to manage you and like your dimensional space that you wish to claim that doesn't exist, right? Allows you the freedom of focus. It's like how you'll pull in an amount of energy that you wish to focus and redirect to send it out. Okay. All right. So when you're in the middle of an experience and you get bored or fall off, or there is a freedom of thought to where you know that you don't have to be doing that and you could be doing something else, and you wonder what that may look like, that will insert a distortion into the vibration that you're experiencing. And you will pull thought in to support that vibrational distortion. It creates contrast and you'll investigate it and you want to solve it. So you have to pull in information to show one that it's there, so that way you can explain what's in your experience. See how it happens? So an exercise that I like is to center. When I say center, I always focus on my heart center, and I usually use my heart center in the chest as my heart center. And for me, that just resonates, because check in with yourself. Look, feel wherever you have your heart center. That's right. Okay. See, because you got to feel your heart center in your body, the energy of it, right? Where it resonates the most, where it feels the most connected to as above, so below, right? That gratitude, see, that appreciation, that sensory, intuitive, that connection, right? That's in this, it's in your heart brain, which will generate it. We have DNA strands that allow us to self-regulate our emotional system and our emotional body. There's a lot that we're able to do scientifically as well as energetically. And when you connect the two, right, you can have amazing experiences and help others to do the same, simply by having intention for, the masses. Like, oh, I would love for everybody to feel this loving vibration, things like that. Just send well wishes to people, just in general, and that'll help you receive as well, because it's full of like reciprocity for the universe, and it paves the way for the universe to give back to you that which you're giving. So when you're giving something like gratitude is for a more tangible experience that you're in. When you're giving appreciation, that's for the experience that you're in or what's to come. And there's joy involved in that. And that's a little bit more experiential in the mind. And that takes you into an understanding of how the necessity isn't there, but the provision is, and you can show up however you'd like. And then you get to choose when both options show up, right? To where you don't have to choose from where you're at if you've created a negative pattern to jump into contrast. Okay. All right. And you don't just choose bliss and then have to wonder how you got there. So you'll investigate contrast. We're meant to have all of it. It just works that way. It's perfect. All right. Okay. So the idea is to understand that when you have that moment and you're in the in-between, that's your alignment. That's when you get to be authentic. You're in your empowerment of choice. Okay? Your choice, your dynamic, your accountability to your connection, right? Whatever you've defined as your purpose, your meaning, your you. That's where you will be able to understand your connection to the earth. And when you understand your connection to the earth is the gratitude energy that is the greatest connection, because the earth provides everything, all the material aspects, and us, right? Okay. So it's very magical in your imagination. You can play with that energy because you can feel it's light and easy. It isn't forced and efforted. Either will get you in the direction and to the end. Either will get you there. I like ease. I like to experience ease along the way. I want choice. I'm methodical. And that drives me crazy. But I'm so focused when I'm in an intention that I understand that it only takes me a moment to set an energetic pattern. And that makes it nice for me, because I understand how I can do it. I understand how deep the focus has to be. I understand it's like being on the pinpoint of a pinpoint of a pinpoint of the top of a needle, right? And just sending the energy in that moment and then letting go, letting your hands be open, right? And then inspired action. You don't ask, what do I have to do next? First, you sit in the energy and you understand that you're still letting go of it, right? There's a release process. Just every time something comes up that represents it, understand that you're letting go of that limitation that you've let yourself hear in a story, okay? It doesn't mean the experience didn't happen. It means the story is told in a limiting way that doesn't allow you to receive. So it fills your hands. You're filled with the story. So when it comes in, you just say, oh, yeah, I'm ready to let go of that. I'm good. I understand the lesson, or I understand who I am more now. Because it's lessons, lessons and spankings kind of rhyme to me in my head, which is weird, but might be how I was raised. Whoa. Insightful shit, huh? Oh man, I love my life. All right. So for me, when I do meditation and I get very understanding of my breath and the energy that comes in and how my body begins to relax and how I feel like I'm connecting to the earth and I'm surrounded by a beautiful, supportive energy that has sensory energy of unconditionality, acceptance, a lot of acceptance. Just a lot of supportive energy, and it feels really good. And if I wished, I could ask to have more love involved, more appreciation, joy, compassion, right? Compassion is a great energy to tune into for yourself. Sometimes when you hold your hand over your heart or your heart center, wherever you deem that is, right? You can think to yourself, I'd love to fill myself with gratitude. And then you just focus on something that brings gratitude in a thought and feeling at the same time. And that energy that you feel, that you're allowing yourself to bring in, connects the synapse of the cranial brain and the synapse of the heart brain. And it's like they come online all at once, and all like 30 plus trillion cells in your body go, here we are. And you're very now and present in that moment. And when you go into gratitude, in that powerful moment, you can create a focus. That's how I, in particular, will pull in the intention and then deliver it. And I don't play with the intention anywhere near me or my field until I'm ready for that, to where it just, there it is. And I make receptacles. All right, of things that I'm working with or working on and helping with. And then they'll pop up like, ooh, the timer went off on this oven. Okay. And that's how I do my energetic distance things and ongoing support for people who naturally have come through my path and I have agreed to support, right? And sometimes they're aware of it, and sometimes they're not aware of it. It just depends on what question somebody asks, right? So if somebody asks you a question, how are you going to feel in response to that question, especially if it is a question that asks you to solve their riddle? How will that feel to you? Because tomorrow somebody's going to ask you for a pen because they didn't bring one or something like that. See, silly things like that. Okay, silly things. It doesn't have to be all harsh. See what I mean? You don't always have to land in contrast. See how we changed it up and then all of a sudden it got ooh, giggly? All right. Have fun. Have fun. Open the energy up, right? You open the energy up through adding perception. That's the key. That's like the secret sauce, right? You have like a noodle. It's your carrier for whatever it is that you want to add to it. What does that look like, right? And the sky is the limit only if you say so. Now, actions are required because you're wishing to have the experience in a physical commodity. So that is going to create actions necessary to put you in alignment or in the right lane, whatever lane it's going to be, wherever the flow is, it's going to allow you to meet up with your desire. Okay. And you're going to keep refining it. You're going to want the inside lane at first, and then it's going to look like this. You're going to be, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just take a wider turn. Okay. And then you're going to keep refining it and refining it. Understand that you're working through limitations, and every time you find a limitation, you're letting go of it. So allow yourself to understand you're creating a brand new intention. And so you're not layering the other intention and limiting it so it can't be accomplished, right? You've let go of that one. And when you have a new one, you don't add to it, you make a new one. And now I would like, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Soften the language around the nuance of the energy that you're shifting. How I perceive it when I'm like in this energy, in this designation, in this intention, in this capsule, in this module, in this narrative, in this mindscape. You can call it almost anything. It's how you're going to interpret it, because that is what is going to open it up for you. You are the most important person in the equation, because this is how you are communicating with energy around you. It's very interpretive. We do it physically already, but mostly we do it energetically, and we interpret it into a physical sense. And then we give it a tangible reason for a presence or for an experience or evidence for this is why that's happening. And it happens energetically first. So if we can slow down and interpret the energy, we don't have to give it a reason for being there. We can allow it to be exactly what it is, passing through. All right. You're not dodging anything. What you're doing is you're coming to an understanding that if you give it focus, it becomes a focus for you. And now you're in that vibrational space. I love words because words have frequency. So when you're speaking to yourself, think about it like it's tablature for music, something like that. Think of it as being very lyrical. okay? And even maybe give it some music in the background in your mind so that that way it has ease and flow, something that really sounds good to you, whatever sounds good to you. It could be anything. It is you that's creating it. So the idea is to allow a flow, right, of an energy stream that you would like to be an experience of. So let's try well-being, okay? And we'll use a phrase. We'll use a phrase in a variety of ways. And I'll borrow it. I'll borrow this phrase from Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, all right? Infinite intelligence, okay? And it is, everything is always working out for me, okay? Keep this phrase handy. Use it often, all right? And so watch how the energy as Abraham comes in, okay? Because you'll feel infinite wisdom, infinite intelligence come in, all right? Okay, and now we'll use this phrase, everything is always working out for me. 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 My vibration raises as everything is always working out for me. My gratitude feels deeper as everything is always working out for me. Money comes easily to me as everything is always working out for me. I'm in alignment for that which I desire as everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything's always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, feel that appreciation, right? So now what's happening is that you may get a sense that your consciousness is opening, like your psychic aspect, like the view of you and your connection, right? Because you've opened to an understanding that everything is always working out for you. Now you're a vibrational match to go into that space. All right. You created a mantra and you allowed the energy of it to really allow you to access it. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. I keep showing up. Everything is always working out for me. I do what I'm asked. I keep doing what I'm asked. I love being of service. I love being of service. I love being a service. I love being a service. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. I love to receive. I love to allow. I love to give. I love to give. I love to give. I love to give. I love to receive. I love to be in reciprocation. I love for the universe to knock my socks off every day with all these wonderful things that happen. Everything is always working out for me. It's a vibe. And what you do is you just sit in the energy of you and you make that connection because you're creating a mantra, something that is focused and in an understanding. You're bringing the understanding into a very sensory in a sensory experience, and now it's going to expand in your vibration, your literal, your physical vibrational aspect in space. Now you're vibing, everything is always working out for me. You're vibing that. Okay, you're vibing that. So now that you're vibing that, that's how you go in and you ask, oh, what would be my next indicated step? What would be a fun thing to do to support the bringing in of this lovely ask, right? That's where you go, and that's how you do it. Okay. Life can be good, and life is going to knock you for a loop. It's going to. Allow yourself to understand that You really are all things to all people. That's the best. That's the best. Okay, all of us have access. We just need to focus, and you focus best when you come into your body and your sensory awareness. How you can do that, the tip was to have a gratitudal thought and bring it into a gratitudal feeling so that the synapse in both spaces can light up at the same time, bringing the whole body online, right? Okay, and do that for like about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, right? Esther Hicks says, for the law of attraction, okay, because this is what you're playing with. You're playing with the 12 universal laws, but we're in the law of oneness. We're in the law of oneness and understanding. So when you're in the law of oneness and understanding, everything that you are and do affects everyone, everything, every single solitary thing, a passing thought, a discarded emotion, any unprocessed charges. Yes, all of that. That's why we have so much therapy now. It's good though. It's really good. People really need to talk about that stuff that they've been holding on to, because that is the limiting story that begins to cripple us and we can't move forward, right? And we need to, well, I don't know. My concept, my practice is this, is that once I was able to understand that I have many parts of me, inner world parts of me. I have my children, all of my childs, right? All of my ages that had to show up in adversity at different or various times in my life. And then the angry teenager who was just glorious, right? Oh yeah, and I've seen myself at 40, so it's awesome. And there's just all of this understanding where I'm calling shadow work, okay? Illumination work, because we don't let go of us. We don't let go of us. We illuminate parts of ourselves that are painful so that we can let go of the charge that holds us almost hostage in our decision making. Okay? And as we do that, that brings this brightness to us, this lightness to us, because we come into an understanding of acceptance that it's okay. We're here. It's okay, right? And who you are right here isn't who you are in that moment, like when you're 4 or 5 years old, or when you're 10, or when you're 20, or whatever the age, even a moment ago. You're not the same person. You don't have the same information. You're not in the same headspace. So understanding that from here, you can't judge there, but you can support and love and heal that aspect from here, right? And we have those like triggers, right? I call them challenges. What it is that your belief system that you've built from the construct of the tragedy or the trauma, or however your perception is of it, okay? Whatever that is, that construct is being challenged in that moment, which is going to change your belief system. And none of us like that change, because we don't know if we're still going to remain safe if we discard any little bit of ourselves. So the idea is to sit with yourself and honor yourself for making the construct in the first place, because it did keep you safe, because here you are. Here you are. And not all of us have that going on right at the moment. Another thing is to allow yourself to be accepting of the current trigger that feels like shame to you, okay? Because it is a lot of times how you feel that you were unable to show up for yourself the way that you could now. And you're shaming yourself in your moment of now, okay? And it's because we're taught to punish ourselves because that will keep us in limitation. And what I would like to maybe invite you to look at it as, rather than a limitation, you can look at it as an empowerment that I too have experienced this, and here I am, right? Because when you go into that integration and understanding, you incorporate you, and then when you show up, because that's what happens, right? Your 4-year-old will show up. Somebody's getting their ass kicked. And that lens that you're using in that moment, that's the one that you really need to manage. And so just knowing where you're at, you know? Okay. Well, I think I've talked long enough. Does anybody have like any questions? Any questions about the topics that I was talking about? Like, was I clear, I should say? You know? Okay. All right. So no questions. Awesome. So I'm just going to pull a rune. They told me, they said, get your runes, pull a rune. Right on. Right on. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, heck yeah. Okay. So let's see. Ah, gateway. All right. Okay. So here we go. We got gateway. Gateway looks like this. It's like a little pea, a kind of pea sort of thing. like a little pea. And you know, it's not really, it's perfect in its ways, right? And so it stands for gateway. So I would say that maybe this is going to speak to everybody differently. Okay. And I'd like for you to maybe center yourself in whatever narrative it is that you're living, right? And find the most advantageous and happy part of it, okay? And take that into like your heart center, okay? Take that into your heart center, and I'll look this up. We'll go to that, and I'll read out for you what it is. Ooh, and it's a 7. It's a 133. Ooh, wow. Wow. Okay. And not reversed. So, ooh. Oh, goodness. Oh, you know how we all want it done now. Okay, so this is Thoras. So this is like Thor. Okay. This is gateway, place of non-action. Thurias is what it is, or Turias, the god Thor. Okay, with a gateway for its symbol, this rune indicates that there is work to be done both inside and outside yourself. What were we talking about? About, and then, good deal. Okay. Thurisaz represents the frontier between heaven and the mundane. Arriving here is a recognition of your readiness to contact the numinous, the divine, to illuminate your experience so that its meaning shines through its form. Thurisaz is a rune of non-action. Thus, the gateway is not to be approached and passed through without contemplation. All right. Here you're being confronted with a clear reflection of what is hidden in yourself, what must be exposed and examined before right action can be undertaken. This rune strengthens your ability to wait. Now is not the time to make a decision. Deep transformational forces are at work in this next to last of the cycle runes. Visualize yourself standing before a gateway on a hilltop. Your entire life lies out behind you and below. Before you step through the gateway, pause and review the past, the learning and the joys, the victories and the sorrows, everything it took to bring you here. Observe it all, bless it all, release it all. For it is in the letting go of the past that you reclaim your power. Step through the gateway now. Transformation. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love runes. I think they're great, you know? And the only song that's coming up right now is that song, I Want It All, and I Want It Now. What a great thread. You guys have been lovely. I hope that you guys have the best week. Many blessings, and I'll see you next Sunday. Peace.